Hey everybody, I'm back. It's me, Aggie, and we are on the painting flowers step for our spring floral. So we did starting the painting, mixing the colors was video 2. Video 3 was painting the background, and right there you can see, am I pointing the right way? Yeah. You can see the painting with the background painted in. And what I mean by background is the background of the subject, the leaves, the water in the vase, and the vase itself. I don't have anybody in here with me right now. Hopefully you are, a few people will be joining me. And if you're watching on replay, type that in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. We are so excited that you are here. So, okay. What I wanted to share in this video, looks like a couple people are coming in. Hello, hello. So what I want to share in this video is we're going to start painting the flowers. This is the fun part. And they're really pretty easy. They're just C-shaped strokes. And I'm going to use a round brush, and I've already got my color mixes all ready to go. But one thing I want to point out to you is that, it's kind of hard to see this. Maybe I'll get my sample. Who's here with me? Say hello. So I want to point out that the yellowy peachy colors that you see, those are the last strokes that you're going to add. Those are going to be the last strokes that we add. So I want to talk about a little bit about the desaturated colors on your flowers. We definitely want to make a painting that has a strong focal point flowers, and I think that I did accomplish that in this painting. These are obviously, this is the focal flower, the main one. It has the most vibrant, rich color to it, and these two are also pretty close. They're not all painted the same. So we're going to start out with desaturated colors, and it's a very subtle little thing. Hello, hello, who's here with me? Thanks for saying hi. I can't see your name, so I'm sorry if I'm not calling you out by name. So we're going to mix pinks and reds with just a little bit of something, a complementary color in them, to change them up just a little bit so that they're not the pure, bright, really vibrant colors. And if you've done the practice that I asked you to do, which will help you. Hi, Shelley. If you've done the practice color mixing, you'll have a sheet like this. It's Debbie. Hi, Debbie. You'll have a sheet like this with your straight out of the tube color mixed with white. For the top one is quinacridone magenta, or you can use, primary magenta, or quinacridone rose, or whatever pinky red that you have. And so these are the pure flower colors that you see, those 4 of them right there. There's a pink, a pinky red, a red, and a yellowy red. Yellow orange, I guess. So those colors are going to look different than our desaturated colors. So here you can see more desaturated mixes. There's a little bit of purple going on out here, peaches. Hi, Michelle. Lighter colors that are pushed back. They're kind of a soft place for the eye to travel through, but not necessarily linger on. It's all part of what we do for the viewer. It's all subliminal stuff that you've probably never thought of. But so anyway, let me hold up my color charts next to each other so you'll see the difference. So if I hold up my really super saturated magenta and white mixture, and then I've got this other sheet that I want to share with you. This was when I was figuring out, well, how do I want to desaturate my pinks. And I decided to try out ultramarine blue. So that's what this is right here. I have quinacridone magenta and white, and then I muted it, wrong way, camera's backwards. I muted it, desaturated it with ultramarine blue. So see the subtle difference? It's just a little bit muted. Then I did the same thing with, on this one, it's quinacridone magenta, and this time I muted it with the Payne's gray and brown. And that gave me a really different color. It kind of looks the same as that one, actually, now that I really look at it, but I didn't add too much. If I were to add more, it would definitely show more. And then this one is with phthalo blue-green shade. So it's even like cooler and more towards a bluey purple. And that is how I got those different nuances of pinks in my flowers. You can make yours stronger if you want, or more subtle if you want. It's totally up to you. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to do the desaturated C strokes first on the flowers, and then we're going to do the saturated ones. So hopefully I can do both and really totally paint all the flowers on this video, but we'll see how far we get. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll stop occasionally and come over here and see if there are any questions or comments. But I'm looking back at my master plan. I hope you've printed this out. And on the painting the flowers step, it's what I just said right here. Desaturated flower strokes. We're starting with our desaturated color mixes, and we're going to paint C strokes in a variety of pinks. It's hard to read backwards. Pinks, pinky reds, peach, and light purple. Those are the desaturated C strokes. And then we're going to do the saturated. So let's get started on that. Let me fix the camera view here. I will say, having this master plan, it has really helped me a lot. It has helped me in just in organizing my videos and stuff. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to get my reds. Oops. Can you hear my Charlie barking? Oh, I'm going to move this over. So these are those red mixes. This has been sitting a little while. I'm going to give it another very light misting with and I love this mister bottle. It's like a continuous spray bottle. You can get these on Amazon. Charlie! Sometimes if I call him down here, he'll come down and stop. People are probably just walking by outside. How dare they? How dare people walk by our house? Okay, so let me go to this and see. Let's see. So I'm going to start with these three colors. I might put some of these desaturated mixes in here. These are not desaturated. I might put some of my desaturated mixes in the focal point flowers just a bit. Obviously on this one, I'm going to have some desaturated colors. But these are my pure colors. And then what I need to do is make room for my desaturators. Got to get those on the camera here. So it's my blues. These are what I'm going to use with this, right? And these are still pretty good to go, I think, but I'm going to mist them again. So here we go. And of course, when we add a little bit of the desaturator color, it's not going to take very much. So I'm going to use a separate plate to do the mixing for these, because these are all filled up. And again, I like this really beefy round brush. This is what I'm going to use probably for all of this. It's damp. I always start with a dampened brush. I dampen it and then I wipe it off in a paper towel. You don't want it drippy because it'll just dilute your color. Okay, so let's start with this this color here. It doesn't really matter I'm going to start with this kind of deeper magenta and white mixture. Bring that over onto my palette here. And then I'm going to desaturate it just a little bit with, let's see, which one do I want to use? I'm going to use the ultramarine blue. My ultramarine blue. Mix that all in there, maybe a little bit more. And it makes it, you might think it looks purple, but it really does look like a pink that's leaning towards purple. So here we go. We're just going to start putting that in. We're going to do these fun C strokes, right? We're not going to put this color everywhere. Might even put a little bit of it up here on these guys. Don't forget about that one up there. All right, so let me get another color now. What I can do is just pinch this out. I don't even really need to rinse. And let's get another color. Let's get this one. This is the Pyro Red with white. And I want to desaturate this just a little bit. So for this one, let's try the phthalo blue green shade. And don't put too much. You just want to knock it back a little bit. Just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. So really it's kind of barely noticeable. And so I'm just going to do these C-shaped petals. All around there. I guess I am going to put a couple even on here for the heck of it. How fun is that? This is the most fun part, I gotta say. Okay, so now wipe my brush off. Let's get this other color. This was the combination. This was the combination of the red and the magenta, right? And we want to desaturate it, so I'm going to grab the ultramarine blue. And there we go. So it's a little bit different from the other one, the other mixes. Maybe we'll make it a little bit different, a little bit darker. In a couple places, right? We always want variation. We talk about that a lot in our lessons. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my pink. Rinse this out a little bit. I'm going to go back to this, the pinky pink, and put it where I originally had it. Maybe I'll add just a little bit of yellow to it. Oh, that's going to really dull it down because I had that blue in there. But who knows? Maybe that'll be kind of nice. A little bit more. And see how the painted lines, that's going to help us because, you know, we're painting over all this, and eventually, depending on how many layers you paint, you know, you're going to lose all of that was on there. So those are starting to look a little bit dull, and I need a little bit more contrast. So let me grab a more vibrant with more magenta in it now and mix that into what I had, right? The glass is going to do quite a bit of the work, but we do teach in the membership, we do teach thinking, well, you know, the student may not even do glass. We have a lot of people that come to us to learn how to paint better. We don't have to do glass on all of our stuff in our classes. So that got a little bit more vibrant, right? Just working around the whole thing, getting it in there. When we add the lighter yellows later on, that's going to really help. Okay, so let's do a little bit of saturated colors now so that we get a feel for what is the difference between the two. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this over here and cover up my blues. And I'm going to go to my saturated colors now. And let's just go right in with this beautiful color here. And just start, you know, painting that in a few places. Oh yeah. I don't want it on those flowers. I want it only on these. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit on this one. Starting to see it. Pinched my brush out. Now I'm going to go to this Pyro Red color. This is more or less a peachy color. We're going to really put that in here. And I'm kind of trying to cover up some of those lines. Oops, picked the wrong color. I had to turn my heater on. I hope it doesn't sound too loud. But I was just getting too cold in here. And here's my pink. All right, so we're going to start getting more of the, you know, deeper magenta in here, and I might even grab my quinacridone after all, because I don't know that this is going to get me a dark, you know, a rich enough, a dark enough. Maybe it will. Now this is still wet, so I'm going to get a lot of blending, which I don't necessarily want right now, but I can always stop and dry it if I need to. And so that really helped quite a bit. So you want to see variation. Now, this was with a big brush, so we can start. So you see the difference? You can see these are softer, muted colors. And so now I can switch to a slightly smaller brush, and I'll be able to refine some of these petals a little bit more. If you're going to do glass, you don't really need to get too intricate with this because the glass is going to kind of hide everything anyway. But I do want to, you know, I do want to suggest all these intricate folds of petals in here. These are ranunculus. I'm forgetting how to say it now. And you know, there's a lot of tightly wound petals. Grab the peachy red color. And just want to make sure I'm covering up, you know, any of those lines that I painted in with purple at the beginning. Remember that? Now I have not really added any additional white. I suppose I could. I think instead what I want to do is get a little bit darker. So this is that, I think this is my red, or this is my primary magenta. So, you know, with a, you know, this liner brush, just try and get a little bit more contrast in here. Just really want to get all of those purple lines covered. Okay. This is still here. I'm kind of painting these as if they're roses. I probably shouldn't be doing it like that. I'm even going to take a little bit of one of these colors, maybe this one, and it would be reflecting in the water a little bit. So I'm going to put just a little hint of pink reflecting on the edge of the water. And maybe it's kind of picking up right here on the edge of the vase. In a couple spots.
Motion detected at your front door.
And then I see a couple more lines I got to cover. Just a little bit more. Wow, paint this on really thick. That's going to take forever to dry. Okay, and then what was I going to do? I see a couple of spots of yellow still showing through. Any place where there's these little dots of yellow showing through in the back from the background, we want to get rid of. You know, like these little tiny spots like this, here and here. We want to get rid of those. And I'm ready to start adding my yellowish highlights now, I think, which is really going to help quite a bit, I think. So I'm going to take this yellow-orange mixture and mix it in with my quinacridone pink mixture, quinacridone pink and white mixture. And this is going to be like a highlight color. And I might even get more concentrated with that yellow too. And that's going to give it another like temperature shift. Like another color going on in here. I've been using some of the straight yellow. Now, granted, these are saturated colors that I'm putting on here right now. I shouldn't have been doing it on that flower. So I can go back in and do something a little more desaturated on that. Okay, I feel like this flower needs to get a little bit darker. So let's go back to doing the desaturated mix again. And probably what I should do is just take a moment to check if you guys have any comments or questions. So let me spray mist this, because I'm going to be leaving this open. Okay. Okay. Hi. Christina says she's so glad to be catching these lives. Yeah, well, I'm pre-recording them. I'm going to be presenting them in the actual class next week. So you do get to see them previewed. It's just easier for me to upload them this way. But that's, And then somebody is saying that adding more of the magenta really looks good. Michelle is saying that. Yes, because it wasn't showing enough before. Okay. Any questions so far? Do you see the subtle differences? Yeah, that one I'm starting to make a little bit too saturated. So let's go back and fix that. And, that can happen. Sometimes we get so into the process that it's like, oh, wait a minute. Don't want to do that. I don't want that to get too saturated. It's funny, in person, you can really see the outlines a lot more than on camera. I'm actually really liking the background kind of the way it is, but it's a little too saturated. We are going to knock that back. Okay, so let's see. If I had a little bit of white, I'm going to see what happens. If I do white, and let's use the Payne's Gray. So that'll really knock it back quite a bit. And then I'm going to grab, well, I can't really grab it. I'll dirty my pure color. Let's see how this looks. If I use this, this might be, ooh, that's kind of really dull, isn't it? Actually, I think it does work. At first it didn't seem like it. It seemed a little bit overkill, but you know what? I think I can get away with it. Kind of gives it a little bit of depth. Yeah, actually, I think that is working. Okay, and then I could probably do that with my liner brush and some phthalo blue mixed into a quinacridone pink mixture. Just need a little bit more quinacridone on here. So let me steal some of it with another brush. There we go. So I needed to bring more quinacridone into this mix and see how that looks. Ooh, pretty. It's like a red violet. So let's get that in here. Making sure I fill in any holes. I am putting just a little bit of this desaturated color in my saturated flowers too, because sometimes that makes that pop a little bit more when you do that. So I really do like what this does when you start adding, this more desaturated color. You can even put just a little bits of it here and there on your stems even. Or again, even on this little, maybe they would be reflecting ever so slightly on the water line or the edge of the vase. Maybe we'll just make this whole petal. I'm going to stand back a little bit more. And maybe this one too, maybe just a lot more in shadow. Okay. And I know that's messy right now, but I can come back in and paint prettier petals on top of it. Okay. Let's do, this is such a weird color, but I think it's going to work. So I'm just trying to get more, variation in here. And I think it's looking pretty good. Because after all, I am going to put glass over this. So let me go back to my saturated now. I like what the yellow does. I think we're just about there. So I'm using the contrast that we see on these flowers to make them a little more dominant and, have more focal point. And I want to go just a little bit further with it. I think I am going to need my quinacridone magenta. So this just goes a little bit more purple. If you wanted to, if you don't have quinacridone magenta, you can make it by adding a tiny, tiny little bit of phthalo blue to your primary magenta, believe it or not. But this will be a slightly different color. That I think will look really good. And I'm going to put glass over this, so it's going to kind of distort all of this. So don't be afraid to put too many of these lines in. Honestly, they're gonna kind of appear. And I think we're just about there. Even painted that over the green just to see what would happen, and I don't think I like that. So that's easily fixed. And I think that's pretty much it. I know it looks kind of washed out. Looks a little bit washed out, doesn't it? But it's not, I swear. All right, this line is a little too much. Let's soften that up. And then that's the other thing, which I think I have in the next step, is to kind of stand back, get away from it for a little bit, come back to it, you know, decide what it needs. Sometimes you have to kind of get away from it. Get a little bit more to that one. Okay, I think that helped. I give it just a little bit more oomph. Okay. Now, that is painting the flowers. The final painting details, I kind of did a couple of them. Bring that reflection down, bring some of the pink down into the, sometimes it gets reflected in the water. And then we also want to kind of come back in and paint the background, the very background back there. I kind of like the yellow, and it's going with the yellows that I've got in here. So maybe what I'll do, I'll make this one a little different from my sample and do a yellowish background. Maybe it'll be yellow-green. It's just a little too bright right now, I think. So as I say in here, sometimes it's a little bit hard. It takes a little bit of experimenting. Let's see, like what I say here is to walk away and come back with fresh eyes. You can take a picture of it and check that you've got enough variation. Get away from it for a little bit, but try not to overwork it. The vase and the waterline detail we did already. So anytime you're painting lines, you want to make sure that you have a nice fluid mixture of paint that'll flow off your brush easily. And that's kind of hard to do with heavy body paint, so you might need to add some water and, you know, mix it up together and get a nice fluidy mixture so that it's easy to paint with, to paint these lines that I did. I did use a dark blue and solid white. And then we, like I said before, we did the surface of the water earlier. So all we need to do now is come back in and paint this background. I'm going to come sit down and see if there's any comments and questions. And you guys can tell me, what do you think would be a good color for the background? Let me cover up my red mixes first. And we'll bring this over here. Oh, no more comments. Let's see. Hi. So can you see it a little bit better now if I'm holding it up more upright? Hopefully you can. Actually, I don't know. I really kind of like the background, but it does need a table. I think I just want to knock that background back just a little bit, maybe a bit of a yellow orange at the top, like a darker, and then I need to put a table. And the table line needs to be right about here, I think, or right about here. So tell me what you guys think. The shine is affecting how it looks on camera. Sorry about that. This has like a, here, let's just soften that up. I'll go clean it up in a second. Okay, so there's no comments, no questions, so I'm going to continue on. All right. Can you use golden retardant? Oh yeah, the retarder? You could use that instead. Yes, yes, yes. I think I do have that. All right, let's figure out what we can do for the background to get it just a little bit darker. Now, you don't want to introduce another color. You want to use the colors that you've been using. I'm wondering if I were to use, just get this a little bit darker, this orangey color. But I want to, I want it to be, I don't think I want it to be too bright. Let's see what happens if we put this in here. I don't know, maybe. A lot of times, green is going to work. Probably need to go to a green. Greens and purples are always really good with flowers because they, maybe I'll use this quinacridone magenta that I put here. Quinacridone magenta. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep my plates organized. This is my greens. I'm using my red lid. Okay, this is way too dark. Oh, I was going to make the quinacridone magenta into a purplish color, so I'm going to add some of my blue to it. This is way, way, way too dark. Let's see what happens if we mix this up with white. It's kind of a cold color. It's very light. I don't know if I want it to be that light. And I basically just kind of paint up to my subject. Sometimes I'll leave the little bits of whatever background showing through. You know, and I may not have it figured out on the first try, but if I'm getting rid of the vibrancy of that yellow background, it should help make the vibrancy of my subject stand out more. You know what I mean? I like that little bit of yellow orange showing right there. I like that a lot. That was a happy accident. So I'm going to probably add more of that. So right about here would probably be my table line, maybe. don't know that I love this color yet, but you know, I'm trying it. We're testing it out. Okay, we need to get rid of this part too. So I'm gonna make that a little bit darker even. So I'll get more of this blue. I guess it was a little bit, there's a little bit of yellow with it. But who knows, maybe that'll be okay, that color. Why not? Let's try it. It might blend in too much with the base. So let's. And I left just a little bit of the yellow showing. I don't know. I kind of like this color actually. What if I put a little bit of this up here? And just being real abstract with it. See, so that's interesting. It relates to this, but I don't want it to fight with it. And I really love that yellow orange. I think I'm going to do more with that. Where could I put my yellow orange? A little bit more of this. Make it even a little bit more orangey. Just kind of adding a little bit more of it. You know, sometimes we just discover something that we really, really like. Do more of that when that happens. And even putting it on the stems a little bit. Crazy, right? What if I put it here? What would happen? No idea. Made a weird beigey color. And you know, this is what artists do. They experiment going back and forth with different colors. Let's grab some white. So you're seeing me basically kind of mixing right on the painting, and it's kind of becoming a true gray, very desaturated color. But because it's the same colors that I used in the painting, it will work. Come back in with a slightly different, lighter color here. I love these subtle little weird colors. So I'm coming back in with a lighter color now, because I didn't like how dark that got. And I might even need to go lighter still, but we'll see. Maybe those are just some little flowers. Maybe this is just a hint of the table. A lot of maybes. I think I want to go even lighter up there. So I'm going to dry this first and decide if I need to go a little bit lighter. Okay. Yeah, let's go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to do more white. The problem with going lighter is that it's also cooler. And I kind of feel like it needs to be a little warmish, which is why green is usually a good color. So, I don't know, maybe I will go a little greenish. So I'm going to get this is that lime green that I had earlier and raw sienna. Let's see what happens if we use this. Raw sienna, the lime green. This usually goes with everything. Yeah, I think that's going to look good. Oh, that looks a lot better, right? Hells yeah. want this to be a soft edge where the table is. Just a soft suggestion of a line. I don't know why I did that. And then sometimes you can really, define the shape of something that you really want to bring out. And really make it stand out more. So we call that cutting in. We're just cutting into the background. Just a hint of some other bouquet flowers, I guess. I don't know what they are. They can be obscure. You can come back in and put nice little pieces of glass on there, later, probably. Okay, the table color here. What should that be? I guess I could go to what I did on my sample and just make it a cleaner, like a periwinkle color. Let's just do that. So that's ultramarine. Is this my ultramarine blue? I think so. I still have this ultramarine blue here. I'll grab some white. Ultramarine blue and white. Really, really light. So yeah, it's the same as the sample, but that's okay, right? I was trying to be a little bit different on this one. But if it works, right? And do horizontal strokes so that because it is a, horizontal surface. Okay, I think I need to put that leaf in front of that. And I'm going to put glass over there. So I don't think I need to worry about that too much. But maybe just put a little bit of a leaf back in here. Oh, I don't have any of my dull colors left, which is not good. I don't know if I'm going to regret this. Yeah, that was probably a little bit much. Okay, this became a little too much. So let's, but you know what? I'm glad you're seeing the struggle. I am. And where's that glue that I had? Oh, yeah, here's some periwinkle glue. Yeah. I mean, I could easily put glass over that and it'll probably be fine. Just going to put a little bit of that same color in a couple other places. Like maybe these are little, purple flowers or something, right? Okay. Now I'm going to paint that leaf over again. Hopefully I'll feel better about it. I think it's just such a strong corner that it doesn't need much. You know. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to cover that with glass. All right. I think that's it. So, it's a situation where sometimes you do need to kind of just walk away, get away from it for a little bit. And come back to it. Putting some more yellow back in. I just love the little bits of yellow orange. Okay, I'm overworking now. So let's bring it over to the camera. Let's sit down, take a look at it, and see what we think. I need to cover this just in case. Greens, reds. Okay. All right. So we did a lot today. And, I did these paintings one after the other. But let me bring it over this way to the camera. Yeah, I've painted all day. I love it. Let's see. Is this going to work? Painted all day. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. Put it a little closer. I can't switch off the other side of the camera because it's got the microphone turned on with it. So I kind of like the painterly effect of what's going on. Sorry, camera's always reversed. I like the painterly effect of what's going on, over here. I think I like that quite a bit. And I know that this looks kind of messy and stuff right here. When we add the glass to it, it's going to take care of that. I don't like this. Sometimes my impulsive little things, that's just way, it's first of all, it's right in the center almost of the canvas, and it's just too much contrast right in the middle. So I'm gonna get rid of that. First and foremost, I love this right here. I just love how that happened. That looks so, so pretty. But this, no, that looks terrible. And, you know, this is what I want you to do. Sometimes hold it up to a mirror. Hold your painting up to a mirror and things will jump. That jumped right out at me. You know, like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. All right. So I'm going to get some Van Dyke brown, some Payne's Gray out because I don't have any on my palette anymore. And just mix this in with something, doesn't even matter what, to make a nice dark, nice dark color again. And we'll just get rid of that. And it's gone. Just putting a couple more little darks in here and there. I think they got kind of covered up. And, put them where you really want them. If you've got a really pretty little area that you really want to make stand out, then increase the contrast. Like, I really love that, so I'm going to bring more attention to it. And this is my focal flower, so I really want to draw the eye there too. And that's one of my darkest darks right there. And I know it's standing out a little bit too much, but I think it's gonna be okay. Okay, I better stop. So sometimes it starts to become too obvious what we're doing. And I probably got a little bit too obvious with that. So I can make another color that's similar. Why is that so crazy green? And then I'm going to stop because I think I'm right on the edge of just overdoing it. Just kind of knocking stuff back a little bit. I think that's better. And sometimes just scrubbing it in is the best way. All right. Let me bring it back over. See if that looks better. I think we're good to go. Yes. All right, so my eye is still going here a little bit, so I could just soften that a little bit more. Can you tell where the focal point is? you know, is there a path that leads you in? I really see a strong path of coming up this way and looking at all of this. And with the glass, I'm gonna kind of make the eye just come back around and look at all this again. So I think I did pretty good. And I haven't figured out if I should do the glass. I probably should film the glass also. So I'll probably work on that tomorrow. Sorry, it's really hard to find the best way to position this. Any questions from anyone? Post your comments in the, post your question in the comment if you have one. And of course, if you think of something later on, you can always tag me and or Shelly, and we're very happy to hop in here and answer your questions. All right, everybody. So I think I'll be filming cutting glass and adding glass tomorrow, and maybe even the resin also, so that I'll have all of these videos preloaded in here for you. And you can get a jump start if you want. For the actual class that starts on Monday, I will be basically just reviewing all of these videos. And for anybody new, we'll just be, you know, watching the videos together and answering any questions that you have. All right, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you tomorrow or else next week. Bye.